Women know how to hide things. Women always know how to hide their true feelings. But what about men? Do men know how to hide or not at all? Men are more straightforward, honest, just blunt. Let me introduce our male guest number 2. He's 1 meter 79.9 tall and he weighs 62 kilograms. He's still in graduate school, born in 2001, which makes him 4 years younger than me. Yes, 4 whole years younger. If we really end up together, wouldn't that be quite something? He's studying in Nanjing right now, and today he came all the way from Nanjing just to meet me. So, what's your feeling about him? Well, it's his first time meeting me. Is it love at first sight? That's funny, but for me, definitely not love at first sight. Tovart me? Why could it be that you fell in love with me at first sight? Of course not. Then that's that, right? You see, I didn't even ask you any questions. Why are your questions so expensive? You're not asking me anything? Why not? If I ask you questions, that means I'm interested in you. If I'm not interested, I wouldn't bother asking. So then, don't ask me why I didn't ask you any questions. You're not interested in me? Right. Then I'm leaving. Okay. Just now you ate 2 rice balls and a bowl of milk. Could you please pay me back later, all right? No problem. Then I'm leaving. Okay. Women these days? Haha. Don't you think men are even more realistic? Don't you think women are realistic? Women are romantic realists. Men are pure realists. Women know how to hide it. Women hide their true feelings. And men? Do men hide or not? Men are straightforward, very direct. Are you sure? I'm sure. Since we can't continue this conversation, I'll go then. Okay, bye. Will you tell your girlfriends? Guys, I just met a cocky one. Mind your own business, I won't care about you, but I still care about my reputation. Who knows what you'll go around saying about me? Then I'm leaving. Goodbye. Goodbye. Or rather, never again. Fine. The rare spectacle of Nanhu Park is an older single woman who's been on more than 100 blind dates without success. Even the professional matchmakers avoid her when they see her coming. She always says she just wants to find an ordinary man. But her definition of an ordinary man is someone who owns a house and a car, has no loans, earns a high income, has high emotional intelligence, good looks, and is tall. The so-called ordinary man you're talking about is already the top-tier catch in the entire matchmaking circle. Nowadays, I really don't know what has happened to this society. More and more men are choosing not to get married, keeping their distance from women. Some even decide to remain single for the rest of their lives. These days, it's not just that men don't want to marry, but women don't want to marry either. Some people get married and then divorced and then married again, and after repeating this over and over, they all start to feel that marriage simply isn't worth it anymore. Why has this situation become so common? Let me tell you the story of my son's mentor. He is 38 years old this year. He owns a house and a car and has a stable job. Not only does he have good personal conditions, but his parents are retired leaders from a state-owned work unit. So you could say his family background is quite good. But then, why did he choose to remain single? This is what he told my son. Back in school, he had a girlfriend. The two of them dated for 3 years, and their relationship was quite stable. But when it came time for their graduation internships, they were assigned to different cities. They had planned that after finishing the internship, they would save some money themselves, and their families would contribute a little more, so they could buy a house in the provincial capital and get married. However, what he didn't expect was that the girlfriend he had dated for 3 years in college met a businessman, and within less than half a year, she left him to be with that man, simply because the other man was richer. The woman he had loved for years turned out to be a gold digger. That beautiful love they once had was defeated by reality, and it left him heartbroken and depressed for quite some time. Later on, he met a few other girls, but for various reasons, none of those relationships worked out. Among them was one woman whose behavior even frightened him a bit, because she was already married, yet still sneaking around with other men. That made him feel that women could not be trusted, so he decided it was better to focus entirely on his work. Now he has a car, a house, and savings, but he still doesn't want a girlfriend or marriage. He says marriage is like opening a blind box. If you open the wrong one, you might never recover for the rest of your life. He believes that modern women are far too realistic. They expect you to fight the world alone, to build a future for them and protect them, But at the same time, they also want you to take full responsibility at home, care for the family, and let them control your life. Outside, you must behave like a gentleman, polite, refined, wealthy, handsome, and tall. At home, you must act like a father figure, taking care of every detail, serving 3 meals a day, and providing everything financially. They want you to be completely devoted to them, with your eyes and your heart full of only them. Maybe they've just watched too many TV dramas. They want you to have the power of a domineering CEO, yet at the same time, to be as gentle as water. They're living in a constant daydream. But once that dream shatters, once you fail to meet their material desires, they will leave you without the slightest hesitation. He said, "Men marry wives, not goddesses to be worshipped." We men also want to find someone who understands and cares, not that we can't afford to get married, but because it's too hard to find someone who truly connects heart to heart. Look around at the married men we know. How many of them are actually happy? If a man earns money to support his family, he's blamed for not spending enough time with his wife. If he doesn't earn much, he's blamed for being useless. No matter what a man does, he's always the one at fault. Today, whatever women say, men must obey. We have to be filial to our in-laws, but must keep a distance from our own parents. If we don't follow their rules, it turns into endless arguments. They never reflect on themselves. For them, the man is always the one to blame. Take my colleague old Zhang, for example. Before his divorce, he was dark-skinned, thin, and constantly stressed. Now, just 1 year after the divorce, he's put on weight and looks so much happier. He said, "Living alone now feels so free. No one controls me. When I'm in a good mood, I cook for myself. When I'm tired, I order takeout. When clothes are dirty, I have a washing machine. On weekends, I take my car out for a drive. During my annual leave, I travel wherever I want. Without a wife or children to weigh me down, life couldn't be more relaxing." He laughed and continued, "When I retire, I'll have enough pension money to live comfortably. If I want to hire a housekeeper, I will. If I want to move into a nursing home, I will. Everything will be my own decision. But if I were to get married, then my entire life would be decided by someone else." The matchmaking corner in Xinjiang has completely turned into a battlefield of marriage, a place of chaos and desperation. With a male-to-female ratio of 1 to 9, the scene is enough to make your scalp tingle in disbelief. Along the so-called information wall, there's an endless row of profiles, almost all of them belong to women. Many are over 30, have houses and cars, and even hold white-collar jobs. Yet here, they've become what the older women mockingly call leftover goods at the vegetable market. Even these wilted cabbages, as some cruelly say, still have such good conditions, but for women over 30, their matchmaking resumes are almost completely ignored. The number of men who are willing to participate has dropped sharply. Now, even ordinary men with average conditions have become rare and highly sought-after resources. Some families say they're even willing to lower the bride price, as long as someone is willing to introduce a potential match. So in this place, it's not only the women over 30 who are worried and anxious. Their parents are also troubled and helpless, not knowing what to do anymore. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
在北京相亲为啥成功率低呢？
Why is the success rate of blind dates in Beijing so low? Let's start with the men. It's not that they don't have women around them. It's that the women they know all expect to be pursued. Men go on blind dates because they want to skip the chasing phase and go straight to marriage. As for the women, it's not that they don't have men around them either. It's that the high-quality men in their circles never take the initiative. So you have one side unwilling to make the first move and the other waiting to be chased. When these two groups meet in the matchmaking market, it turns into a chaotic standoff. Men think women are too picky and overly idealistic, saying things like, "I already treated you to dinner and you're still acting cold and distant," while women think men are too hasty and careless, saying, "You just bought me one meal and already want to hold hands? Why don't we just skip all this and get married right now, huh?" So one side says, "You need to put in some effort, I'm a slow burn type," and the other side says, "I don't have the patience for that." In the end, both sides see right through each other, no one appreciates the other, and they end up mutually disgusted. Tell me, isn't that exactly what's happening?
福金彩礼的排版上，每个乡镇的彩礼金额。
When it comes to the bride price rankings in Putin County, every township has its own standard and amount. So, which position does your hometown rank in? In sixth place is Longtian Town, where the bride price starts at 180,000 yuan and goes up to a maximum of 380,000 yuan. Next, in fifth place, is Yuki Town, where the bride price begins at 200,000 yuan and can go as high as 400,000 yuan. In fourth place, we have Chengdu Town, where the bride price starts from 220,000 yuan with a ceiling of 450,000 yuan. Now entering the top three, the prices rise even more dramatically. In third place is Yixi Town, where the starting price is 250,000 yuan and the maximum does not exceed 500,000 yuan. In second place is Gaosan Town, where the starting amount climbs to 300,000 yuan and the highest amount reaches 600,000 yuan. And at the top of the list, as everyone probably already knows, is Jiangyin Town without a doubt. The bride price here is astonishing, ranging from 680,000 yuan to as high as 1,880,000 yuan. Such high bride prices clearly reflect how much the local people value marriage traditions. Of course, the amount of the bride price is not the only measure of marital happiness, but it truly represents an important cultural element of the local marriage customs. So, where are you from? And how much is the bride price in your hometown?
好，拜拜，离婚了。全网最懂星座、最懂情感、最懂女人的男人。
All right, goodbye, they're divorced. The man who was once called the internet's top expert on zodiac signs, emotions, and women has ironically failed to manage his own relationship. I will absolutely not delete this video. I just want to make a prediction. If one of them is bound to regret this breakup, that person will definitely be Lu Zhao. Ladies, you must wake up and see the reality clearly. In marriage, the less you talk about love, the better. So many women make the same mistake. For example, you ask your man, "Do I look good in this dress?" And he replies, "No." Then you immediately say, "You don't love me anymore. Come on, stop being so dramatic." Seriously. If a man says something isn't pretty or doesn't taste good, it's simply because he genuinely thinks so. It has nothing to do with whether he loves you or not. Stop dragging every little thing back to love. Because in marriage, if there's no value, love alone is useless. Men, by nature, are creatures who often lack a strong sense of participation in family life. They need to go out, drink with their buddies, vent their frustrations, and blow off steam. If you think you can lock him down completely at home, you're just being naive. It's impossible. Do you know what kind of women suffer the most? The ones who can't tolerate even a grain of sand in their eyes? The type who gets angry if he goes out for a drink or even just looks at another woman. Let me tell you what that leads to: breast hyperplasia, nodules, and endless anxiety. When a man's financial status reaches a certain level, a woman has to be ready to make sacrifices. If you can't make absolute sacrifices, then you're not meant to enjoy the wealth that man provides. You simply don't have that fate. Don't let yourself be brainwashed by all those so-called feminist empowerment speeches on the internet. Those "you don't need a man to live a better life" slogans. I'm telling you, this world is built on the balance of yin and yang. Why do you think there are only two genders, male and female? Men and women aren't meant to oppose each other, as they are meant to complement and cooperate to succeed together. A truly strong woman is one who can win with gentleness rather than force, because that kind of softness comes from inner strength and emotional maturity. All comfortable relationships, in truth, come down to just 4 simple words: no expectations. When you finally remove the person who occupies your heart, you'll discover what true freedom feels like. So in the end, a truly good marriage is not perfect, it's about acceptance. It's when you can tolerate each other and still keep going. That's what makes a good marriage. Take a look at the matchmaking corner in People's Park. I've noticed something quite interesting. Many women with good conditions, meaning they have stable jobs, good education, decent income, and solid family backgrounds, actually don't set high or unreasonable standards when looking for a partner. They simply want someone well-matched, someone who is on the same social and economic level. That's all. But on the other hand, some women whose conditions are just average, or even below average, set astonishingly high demands. Their expectations are far beyond what their own situation can offer. So, as many people often say, I want it precisely because I don't have it. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that logic at all. If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me.
如今婚恋市场的女儿国现象正在全国蔓延。
The phenomenon of the so-called kingdom of women in China's modern dating and marriage market is rapidly spreading across the entire country. In major first-tier cities, the male-to-female ratio in matchmaking markets has reached a staggering 1:50. In Hangzhou, for the first time ever, a matchmaking event introduced a men-free, women-pay model, a phenomenon that's both rare and revealing. At these matchmaking events, women line up eagerly, hoping to meet eligible men. But the number of male participants is shockingly low. Even when a few men finally show up, most of them find excuses to leave midway. Meanwhile, China has 159 million single men, which is about 30 million more than single women. So the question arises, why has the gender imbalance in the marriage market become so severe? That's the topic we're discussing today. In recent years, a popular concept has spread online, the idea of men escaping responsibility. It means that modern men are avoiding marriage and unwilling to pay the emotional and financial costs that come with it. But this narrative ignores an important truth. It's not so much that men have woken up, but rather that they've been scared away by a distorted and exploitative marriage market. When a man's quiet efforts receive no equal return, he is forced to lie flat, to give up, and stop viewing marriage as a necessary life goal. In 2024, the number of registered marriages nationwide was 6,106,000 couples, at a drop of 1,574,000 compared to 2023, marking the lowest figure in nearly 40 years. In the past, the marriage market was manipulated by capital interests that flattered women without restraint, while simultaneously belittling and demeaning men in countless ways. For example, in this market, a 25-year-old woman with a bachelor's degree, a height of 1.60 meters, and a monthly salary of 3,000 yuan, as long as she was somewhat attractive, could easily be idolized as a goddess. And yet a 30-year-old man, also with a bachelor's degree, a height of 1.75 meters, and a monthly income over 10,000 yuan, would still be considered unqualified. If he didn't own a house or a car, if you visit matchmaking corners across the country, you'll see a consistent pattern. And women's standards for choosing a partner are far higher than men's. Many women demand that their potential husbands earn at least 500,000 yuan per year, own a house and a car, have retired parents with pensions, and pay a bride price of several 100,000 yuan. These conditions have become non-negotiable requirements. Some toxic influencers even worsen the situation. On one hand, they preach that if a man doesn't have money, he shouldn't get married. And on the other hand, they teach women how to legally convert the bride price and dowry into personal premarital assets. Before even marrying, both sides are already calculating and negotiating, treating love as a business transaction. The standards have become so strict and the behavior so manipulative that even the Buddha in the temple would shake his head. Even if a man meets all of a woman's conditions and they become an official couple, he must still constantly prove his love with money. Whether it's on May 20th, China's Valentine's Day, during the autumn milk tea craze, or on any other capital-driven romantic occasion. If he doesn't spend enough, he'll be labeled by society as a mediocre man or a rural upstart. In today's click-driven culture, capital and media hype have pushed gender antagonism to an unprecedented level. Through manipulative narratives, they claim that women are the victims in marriage, that childbearing is just a sacrifice for men to carry on their family name, and therefore not a single cent of the bride price should be reduced. At the same time, men are expected to be financial providers, emotionally romantic, and constantly surprising, with gifts on every holiday. Under such relentless manipulation by capital and social media, many women's values have fundamentally shifted. The focus is now only on women's rights and entitlements, while their responsibilities are conveniently ignored. In this toxic marriage market, it's not just men who are victims. Women are victims too. This distorted media environment has turned women's bodies and appearances into commodities for sale. What should have been mutual love and connection has now become a cold business negotiation. If these twisted marriage values are not corrected soon, then in the near future, men will completely withdraw from the marriage market. Because when love becomes a transaction, marriage loses its meaning, and both genders end up losing everything. What we're seeing today is more than just failed blind dates. It's a mirror reflecting the deeper social shifts happening across China. According to official data, in 2024, the number of registered marriages in China dropped to only 6,100,000 couples, marking the lowest rate in nearly 40 years. Meanwhile, the number of single adults has soared to over 239 million, with more than half of urban women now unmarried past the age of 30. These numbers reveal a silent crisis, a generation caught between independence and isolation, between freedom and fear of commitment. What used to be the path to love has now turned into a transactional battlefield, where expectations clash and emotions fade. This is the reality of modern relationships under China's social trends, where love, money, and social pressure intertwine more than ever before. As China's social trends continue to evolve, the question we must ask is this: has marriage in China become a matter of convenience rather than connection? Is love still about emotion or just about negotiation and survival? Share your thoughts below. Do you think modern love in China is dying or simply changing its form? Leave your opinion in the comments, and let's start the debate. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with our next stories about real life and society in China. Thank you for watching. See you again in the next video.